Hey, Facebook. Thanks for jumping in and being a part of the show tonight. This is Bad Bug Media, Bad Bug Live. I think this is like our fourth episode. I've got Bill Stoddard with Bad Bug with us. Hi, Bill. He's really
Hi,
excited
Mike.
to be here tonight. We didn't pressure him at all into
I
being
crawled right out of bed for
here.
just this.
Scott Wilkie, fellow
Uh,
genius and writer for Bad Bug. Alan Dunford, fellow genius and writer for Bad
Okay,
Bug.
okay, good. I was really figuring
I
out.
was almost going to say Sports Boy Press. I was going to say it very vindictively. But,
Oh, okay.
no, but writer for a bunch of people there. Then we got John Westhoff on as well, who's the creator of Drumsticks of Dooms, which is actively running on Kickstarter right now. So the intent of the show is to get to know some creators. We're kind of spending time with them 4-on-1. So we'll be adding new creators every 10 minutes. So we get 10 minutes to really cover a lot of information. I've already taken up a minute of John's time, so I don't want to do any more of that. But hey, I guess what we'll start with is we're going to go for 60 seconds. And John, we're going to just fire off as many questions that you can answer about yourself in that minute so that we can get to know you really, really well. And then we can really get into your project and spend the bulk of the time talking about that. So Scott, are you ready? Is the timer set? Boom. All right, so let's
Ready?
start.
They're going.
All right. John, what is your biggest creative influence?
My biggest creative influence, I was definitely into things like The Simpsons, Futurama. My biggest influence is definitely like sitcom comedies, I guess would say.
You
All
got
right,
a
that's
favorite
only
movie?
one question.
Oh, Bill's got it.
No, go ahead, Mike.
All right,
Just
favorite
think.
movie.
He's only fit one
Favorite
question.
movie, Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, Bill, all you.
Favorite childhood toy.
Probably the original Ninja Turtles,
Favorite musician.
Primus.
Ooh.
If you could have one exotic animal as a pet, what would it be?
Oh,
Platypus.
Ooh, that's a good one.
that's a good
How do you
one.
feel about the Oxford comma?
Yay or nay?
Yay or nay?
I don't love it. I don't hate it.
Oh,
I forget what
What's
he
your
used
favorite
it.
brand of drumstick?
Eh, eh.
Okay.
That's
Wait, I do
Mark
want to hear that
7-8.
last one though. Favorite brand of drumsticks.
ProMark 747s or 5.8s.
All right. Nice. All right. So hey, good starter there. We've got Drumstick of Doom pulled up here. I'm going to share my screen real quick so everyone can take a gander. And I guess John, this has been your primary series that you've been working on, correct? Since you've been getting into comics.
Yeah, so I've been doing comics for about 15 years, but as far as coming back with part-time comics as my own venture, this is definitely, if you would call it our flagship title, most issues, and definitely has the longest plan for as far as issues, yeah.
So this is this going to be the issue that completes the arc? Like you're on issue 4 right now, so it says here final issue. So do we have plans to do more?
Question mark. So this is the end of the first arc. It's planned in 3 arcs right now. It'll be about 9 to 10 issues depending on interest and excitement. But this is definitely the natural end to the first arc. And then if people get excited, we can reach our stretch goals. We can get enough finance going for the next issue. There's definitely more to be told, but we hope we can wrap up at least this first arc, nice and tidy, and then give you a little bit more to go on to want to come back for next series.
So, John, how far in advance do you guys plan your stories out?
I usually script 1 issue ahead, but I do plot out a lot of the series in advance. So I would say I roughly have plotted out 9 to 10 issues.
Okay.
But I don't script until I know that we're actually going to move forward with the project. I might write a scene or two, or something that just kind of pops in my head, but I don't script fully until it's time to do like the next issue.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I guess that's the big thing, right? As long as you know where your story is going and you don't write yourself into a corner.
Yeah, and I've definitely made that mistake before, and then
I think we all have.
right, it kind of meanders, and luckily I worked with great artists who were willing to kind of find the way for those stories. But for this one, I wanted it to be a little tighter. For Dan's a full-time musician and a full-time artist, and he's got tons of projects too. So, I want to give him the best I can for the time he's putting in. So
Yep, definitely.
Was there like a certain moment that inspired you to do Drumstick of Doom? Like, what was the trigger?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
well, really, about 10 or 12 years ago, I was working with a couple other creators, and we kind of started realizing we'd all been in bands or had been around music or loved music, and we decided to do an anthology series called Banthology. We called it All Music Related Stories. It was actually Dan Doherty, the artist and co-creator of Drumsticks of Doom. His story in the first issue was called The Beast in Me, and it was about someone it was actually him, who played a live show, and just that you're always kind of chasing that feeling. He never really got to that height again, and he's always kind of been chasing that ever since. And he just did this great, beautiful black and white story, and anybody who's played music can relate to that. Whatever your goals were in music, you always like, oh, I want to play, Madison Square Garden. Or for me, it was, the Metro in Chicago. I never got to do that, and all the time. And that always just kind of sticks with you. It's always just kind of that like it was the story, the beast in you. It's always just kind of this thing in the back of your mind that you just really can't shake. And I thought he did such a great job. And it really, that and other music themed stories like, Scott Pilgrim and Doom Boy was another one, these musicians trying to make their way. I always love music in comics because, it being an audio-less medium, how do you get that feel of music on the page? So I always wanted to do that. It took me about 5 or 6 years to develop the story and finally approach Dan and say, hey, I really liked your story in Banthology. You want to work with me? And he's like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
So after this is obviously the conclusion of your first story arc. So what do you plan to do next?
So our hope then, if this does well, this would be our first series from Part Time Comics in trade. Obviously that's a big step for us indie creators.
Yeah,
get a book in trade. I considered even doing the trade with the comic, and a lot of people said just wrap up the series and then do the trade separate. I think that's going to be a big step for us. So however the trade does, whether we can get some distribution or get it in stores or just have more successful crowdfunding, will be a huge step, and that will tell me, okay, now I can secure Dan's page rate for the next arc, and we'll know that we have the stability to keep going forward. So it's definitely that. I have multiple other series in the works as well that will continue on in some capacity. So I really have 2 or 3 ongoing series, a couple of one-shots. I joke I started the company Part Time Comics is kind of an inside joke to myself to kind of ratchet it back and not be so heavy into it this time, but of course that hasn't happened.
There's that itch, right? It's an itch you have to scratch. Alan and I talk about this a lot. We talk about how much we're in debt and how broke we are, and Yep.
For sure.
Yep, the end.
Yeah,
That's about it.
yeah, we love it. But it's a fascinating thing too that you committed to this series and wrapping it up before branching out a whole lot all at once, because I see a lot of creators do that. They just go chase down every new idea they have, and they have multiple things running, and then they can't really focus on what's in front of them, right? They don't, I think a lot of times it ends up diluting the impact of all the series that they have because they're spread so thin. And I swear to God, I'm not talking about myself right now. I swear to God.
I'm guilty of that too. This will be our 11th book in 3 years. So, we've definitely, we've definitely got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah.
And I have to be involved in every book, writing or lettering or something like that. So
Sure.
I try to be involved in it. Part Time Comics really is just the company to kind of park, projects that I work on. But,
Cool.
I'm still always guilty of that every year. I'm like, and then somebody will come up with like last year it was somebody threw out the idea, let's do a Simpsons themed anthology. And I'm like, I can't pass that up. I love the Simpsons. There's always something where you didn't plan it on your schedule. And then you're like, that's some of the joy of comics, right? Is that you can, really, we could sit down tonight and make a comic by tomorrow, if we had the art team and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun to me. I still want to, when I get excited about an idea, but I do have to sometimes slow it down and say, okay, I really have 3 other books going, and if I want them all to be the best quality I can, then I should just focus on these, which is hard.
Yeah, how does I've always been curious. I'm not musical. I wish I was, but how does that help, or maybe is it a detriment in the creative field, the writing field? Do you feel that it aids you, influences you? I mean, obviously influence, but as far as the writing process and all that goes,
I
how
mean,
do you
I think so. At the very least, it helps you with collaboration. You know, my
yeah,
Drumsticks of Doom, part of the reason I did it, I play drums. Being part of that collaborative process, I did think set me up to do well in this type of environment. Everybody has to play their part in it, and you have to give and take.
Yeah.
You might have this, I really want it to look like this, but if your artist isn't having fun or your colorist isn't able to do what they need to do, then you're not really creating the best product. So I do think,
Yeah.
Being in bands helped me in that regards.
that's awesome. Yeah, and we're approaching the minute mark.
I think
So
I'm
Okay.
over the.
All right. So, I think we talked so much about the process and what he's been doing inside his comic career. I guess out of curiosity, did you are you looking to grow what you're doing right now as a company and as a brand, or since the name's Part Time Comics, are you just really trying to keep this like at a hobby level, or what's your ambition with making comics?
Yeah, I don't have any grand ambitions to, write for Marvel or to do this full time. I'm a social worker by trade. I enjoy my job. I'm gainfully employed. I'm happy where I'm at. I enjoy, doing it as a getaway from the daytime job. So don't have any big plans there, but I would love, of course, to have, some distributed books. I would love to write, for a small publisher, of course, Dark Horse, Boom, one of those companies. I would still say that that's on my bucket list to do, but I'm happy just continuing to create my own books and have, fans back through Kickstarters and through our website. That's just fine for me. And to continue to work with my friends and co-creators that I've met along the way. If that's all that I have, 15 years from now, then I'll be happy with that.
Awesome. John, man, it was great having you on.
Well, hey, John, before we send you off, give us a 20-second pitch. What is the book and why should people back it?
Black Sabbath, not the Beatles, became the most popular band in the world, and thus the universe was changed forever. But Lana just wants to play her indie music in a heavy metal world, and that is Drumsticks of Doom. I think you should back it if you're a fan of heavy metal. I take a lot of the lore of heavy metal lyrics and songs and kind of put them into the book, while also hopefully writing an emotional story about a young woman who's doesn't want to be in a heavy metal band, but she's thrust into this war to keep heavy metal on the top of the charts.
Awesome, man.
Love that.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, get
we
out of here.
appreciate you, man. Hey, have a great
Time's
night,
up.
man.
Get out.
Have a good one, man.
Take care. All right. I believe we have Nick. Oh, I added Leanne. Sorry. Wrong person.
Oh, Mike.
Oh,
Hi
All
guys.
right,
Hey, Nick.
How are you guys
what
tonight?
up?
What's up,
How's it
man?
going?
Good, good.
All
Thank you
right.
for having me.
Yeah. You're Purity, right?
Yep.
Okay. Just want to make sure I have these lined up. Okay, cool. So
Let me know when
what
we're
we've been
started.
doing is just getting to know you, and within a minute, so we're going to ask you a bunch of questions in 60 seconds. You're going to see how many answers we can get out of you.
Okay.
All right. So Scott, are you ready? Oh, it's
We're
going.
going.
Bill, you lead this.
Where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey, man.
What's your favorite monster?
Oh God, Demon.
Superman or Batman?
Heck
Batman.
yeah.
How do you feel about the Oxford comma? Do you like it? Hate it?
I'm indifferent.
Favorite musician?
Oh God.
Next, favorite movie?
Too slow. Too slow.
Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Favorite movie.
Nice.
Nice.
Why?
Favorite childhood toy? Mike, no.
It was the Christian Bale Batman Batmobile.
Nice.
That's a good choice.
If you could have any exotic animal as a pet, what would it be?
Polar bear.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
How would you like the Fast and Furious franchise to end?
No.
Abruptly. I just want it to end. I don't care at this point.
What is your biggest creative influence?
Jaime Hernandez. I'm a huge Love and Rockets guy.
Nice. Good
That's
job.
Dean.
We definitely
job,
fit
man.
more in than the first.
You ran
guy.
out
Well,
of
it's
questions.
because the
Bill's-
first
Bill's
question
got
Mike
speed.
asked before was, "Tell me a time whenever you actually." He's like he's interviewing
Yeah,
for his
yeah.
tour.
Yeah, he's
What are
like,
your
we're gonna do a
strengths and
speed
weaknesses?
round.
Yeah,
Okay,
tell me a
now
time
tell
when you
me
had to
about the
overcome
time when you were a
objections.
kid and you had to overcome adversity.
All right, you guys are cutting into Nick's time here. Let's go.
By making fun of Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you plenty of material. All right. So, hey, Nick, we're going to share your campaign with everyone watching.
Cool.
And we're obviously going to have some questions for you. But I guess if you would like to start, just to talk about the project briefly, what's the premise and,
So-
what's the inspiration?
So, I'm a huge, even though I said Jaime Hernandez is one of my favorite storytellers, I'm a huge fan of the bad girl genre. I grew up with, Image, Mark Silvestri, Michael Turner, may he rest in peace, Billy Tucci, Lady Death, Brian Pulido. So, like, I really wanted to make a story, and I actually made this character when I was in high school. So this was like 14 years ago. So it's been in the making since. But basically, it's about a Puritan girl who's wrongly accused of a crime that she never committed by her own sister, who's the actual witch. And she's damned to hell for this crime, and she doesn't know why. And her sister stays in the mortal world, and she did a spell for immortality, so she had to exchange her soul for a pure virgin. So she was like, I'm just going to use my sister. So that's why her sister rotted in hell, and she was a slave for 500 years down under. And one day she just had it. She's like, I'm going to seek revenge on my sister because I haven't seen her come down here. So she escapes hell, and she's on a huge mission to take down her sister by any means necessary. And by doing so, a lot of chaos happens. We get introduced to the Satan of the universe, and she's not so happy about it either. But yeah, it's a really action packed. It's for mature readers. There's a lot of violence, gore, especially in the beginning where it starts off in the Salem witch trials. I really wanted to keep it as historically accurate as possible. So I'm sorry to the FBI if they see my search history from all the reference I had to look up for that. but yeah, so there's a lot of violence, gore, action, and obviously it's a bad girl book, so I wanted it to be tongue in cheek. You got a sexy character. Even Satan in the universe is a pretty sexy redhead, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from just overall viewers, and there she is right there, and they're already calling her their favorite character. I've actually had a person tell me that they actually simp over this character, so I guess that's
Nice.
an honor. So
Yeah. That's the goal.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, I noticed you got quite a few different variant covers
Mhm.
on the campaign. I mean, did you have like any process as far as who you sought out for artists on this campaign? Like, did you already have an idea of who you wanted to reach out to as you're developing this, or how'd that work out?
Yeah, so a little context. So I went to the Cubert School. I'm a graduate, and so storytelling was a huge part of the process. And when it came to coming up and finding cover artists, I'm very picky. And obviously, with the bad girl genre, you want that pin-up-y kind of cover. But I also push my artists, my cover artists especially. I want them to also tell a story with the cover. I want it half sexy, half story. So when it came to finding the cover artists, I knew that I was really looking at, I'm a colorist by trade. So I haven't worked for Coffin, but I've worked for a lot of Coffin artists on other projects. And I love how they've worked on Lady Death, and, I could tell Brian Pulido pushed them on those covers to tell a story with, keeping that pinup aspect. So that's what I kind of wanted to do as well. And even with other artists, I know a few of my colleagues who also have bad girl books out. I just see the artists they would hire, and I'm really inspired by them, and I really dig their art. So I was like, oh, well, I want to see if maybe they could work on my character. So it's a little bit of a mixture, but overall, I feel like I am kind of picky with my cover artists, but I also enjoy pushing them because I want to see. Yes, they can draw, but I want to see if they could also tell a story in their cover.
That's important. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. Try to keep a narrative in there with it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, and I obviously, this book has a little bit of a 90s twist to it. So obviously, I do occasionally want that 90s gimmicky cover, of course. Like, but I do want to have that variety of, storytelling in there as well, because it's still in our background. It's still part of the story, and it's part of everyone's comic journey. It's just storytelling. So I really want to enhance it.
So you have done really well. You are at 40 or 4,700, 4,800,
Mhm.
and the goal is 4,950. You have 102 backers with 18 days to go. So
Nice.
it's a safe bet you're probably going to fund. Is this your first Kickstarter? Or have you ran several or?
This is the first Kickstarter I ran as the solo creator. I'm a co-creator of Reign of Ages with Sonoma Publishing. I don't run the Kickstarter, but I'm a contributor. I've done the interiors. I've worked on other Kickstarters, but never. This is the first Kickstarter that it's fully in my control. So it was a little nerve-wracking in the beginning, but honestly, after working on Reign of Ages, I was like, all right, this gave me a little confidence to, all right, like put my own book out, seeing how Kickstarter works from behind closed doors.
Well,
So you're the artist too on the series, or?
Yeah, so I'm the writer, the penciler, and the colorist. This is the first book I'm actually working with an inker. I never really had someone ink over
Yeah.
me ever prior. So, but yeah, I'm doing the interiors and colors.
Nice.
I've always been curious, what's that look like? Because I'm not at all good at drawing, as they can attest to. What's that look like as far as the genesis? Does it come for you sometimes that you find you're just doodling and then character comes and you want to write a story over it, or does the story usually precede any character design that you kind of come up with?
It depends on the character. I think what really helped me with that was I started playing D&D pre-COVID, and the character building in that basically you're gonna develop a character so naturally through D&D and just
Mhm.
experiences. So that's why I try to do with the characters. That's one way I do it. But another way, obviously, if there's a certain design of the character, I form a backstory around it. But with Purity,
Okay.
she's gone by many names in the past, but like I said, she was in the making for 14 years. So it
Yeah.
almost was like the seed was in there, and then it just grew into this giant product 14 years later. So it was definitely building up into something.
Nice.
right.
Mhm.
So are we? Looks like
Yeah,
we're
we're
running
in we're last 50 seconds. So
50 seconds. All right. So we've asked you a bunch of questions, Nick. If you'd like to take the rest of the time to just talk about Purity and why everyone should support your Kickstarter, support you as a creator, and obviously all your future endeavors. Floor is yours, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on making this an ongoing series. I kind of want to make it. I know this sounds pretentious. I want to make it a little bit like Witchblade level big, have so many crossovers, so many like volumes and omnibus books and graphic novels. But ultimately, if you like the bad girl genre, if you like Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose, Evangeline, Lady Death, all those like heaven and hell badass characters, this book is definitely for you. If you like metal, there's also, I'm a metalhead, so there's a lot of hellish fiends in here that just scream metal. But ultimately, if you like fantasy, this book is great. I want to live up to the bad girl genre. I want to, give a nod to all the creators who really paved the way for this genre. And yeah, that's why I think you guys should pick up Purity.
All right. Hey,
Awesome.
listen, Nick, thanks for being on.
Yeah,
We
thank
really
you.
appreciate you jumping on and letting us get to learn a little bit more about you and this great project, Purity. For everyone listening, it is on Kickstarter right now. It's got 18 days left, and looks like we're going to be, knocking down the door to stretch goals here very soon. So congratulations, Nick. Looks
Thank you
great.
so much.
And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and boot you. All right, and we're
Okay.
gonna bring on the next.
All right,
Great
later,
meeting you.
guys.
See
Thank
you
you.
later.
Yeah,
Thank you,
take care.
guys.
All right, guys. I do need to also skedaddle. So I'll
Skedaddle.
catch you guys later. Bye, guys.
See you.
Bye. Have a good one,
We
buddy.
love you. Bye-bye.
Lovin's.
Kisses.
All right.
Oh, I didn't get any kisses.
All right. Yo, it's Carissa's time. What's up, Carissa? How are you?
Good.
Okay. Hey, so I don't know if you've been watching the show so far, but we take that first minute to just, all right. She already knows the drill. Okay.
You
All
ready,
right,
Bill?
So we're going to go ahead
Ready.
and get
Bill's gonna
started.
rapid fire.
Scott.
There we
What's
go.
the plushie that you're holding? First of all,
This is my Anubis, my plushie handmade Anubis for my
Nice.
story.
very
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome.
Favorite movie?
The Crow.
Favorite band?
One Republic, I guess.
Favorite childhood toy?
G.I. Joe.
Nice.
What's
Hell
your
yeah.
favorite
I don't know his
monster?
brother. My favorite what?
Monster. Like
Oh.
movie monster, mythical
Freddy Krueger.
creature. Nice.
Mm,
Superman or Batman?
Batman.
Nice. Do you like the Oxford comma or hate it?
I use it.
What's your
Respect.
biggest creative influence?
Resident Evil.
Nice.
mm.
Do you have a weird habit while you are writing or creating, or is it?
I have to
pretty-
have my TV on pause.
Nice.
I don't know why.
I don't know if that's a weird habit. All right.
I don't.
All right.
It's
I
a
think that's
healthy
like that's
habit.
smart
I have
thing,
so many
really.
things happening in the background when I'm trying to focus.
I don't. I think I think it's because I'm dyslexic, and there's something about dyslexia where you see things moving that aren't there, and I don't know if, but it seems to help if I have the TV on but paused. So I don't.
Oh,
I don't know.
cool.
It's just weird.
It makes sense. I get distracted a lot when I have stuff in the background. So
Yeah,
like,
same.
when I'm when I'm writing, I'm listening to music. It has to be like binaural beats and stuff, where it's just like tones that
Yep.
just play in
Yeah.
the background. So I
Yeah.
stay focused.
I can't listen to songs with lyrics when I'm
Yeah,
writing.
I can listen
Jumps me
to
out.
songs if I listen to the same ones every time. Like, so I already know what's going to happen in the video, or I know what's happening in the music,
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah,
So, all right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and dive into you as a creator, get to know you a little bit. So, I'll ask the first question, and I'm going to shut up because I know these guys have a lot of much better questions than what I typically ask. But I am kind of curious. How long have you been writing?
okay. So I've been writing for 17 years as a role player, but I've only been making comics for 7 months.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice.
Wow, relatively new. Okay.
Yeah,
What brought you into it?
I role played for 2 years with my co-writer, and when we were done, well, we're still role playing, but like 2 years in, we were like, I said, "Did you realize we have 11 novels written?" And she said, "No." So I said, "We're gonna make a comic book." So we decided it was just too good to waste, and we really love the characters, and we're so obsessed that this was just like the next step to do. So
Awesome. Well, hey, congratulations, by the way. I think getting started a lot of the
Yeah.
time seems to be one of the more intimidating things.
Very
so
daunting.
you got past that, and now you're on
Yeah.
Kickstarter right now, right? I mean, like,
I'm
that's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm on issue 5. We have 45 issues written for this.
Okay.
And
Eat that,
yeah.
Scott.
I know. Damn.
well,
Jeez.
we have 45 issues for this written, and we have 40 for the spinoff written, and about 7 issues for series 2. So, but for series 1, there's about 45 issues and 5 books. So book 1 is 7 issues. Issue 6 is already, it got finished today. I got the last page in. So that's going to be released August 15th. And then we have book 7, which is the final in book 1, and that'll be in October.
Okay.
Nice.
Wow.
And this is our so our story is pretty much Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Supernatural in Silent Hill and the Resident Evil world.
Nice.
So book 1 is them in Silent Hill trying to get out. The town they're in is merging with hell. So you have zombie mermen, zombies, ghosts, hellhounds, skeletons, Anubis. and they're all
Yeah,
after them.
I saw Anubis up here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it-
during
very
like, what
popular.
the-
Yeah, and that's
You
just
got
how
everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we have it all. That's her father is the angel. And so Seraphina is an angel descendant and Draven is a demon descendant, and their fathers are after her because she was created from an angelic weapon that holds the power of souls. And whoever gets that weapon from her can tip the scales of heaven and hell in the war in their favor. So they're pretty much just a survival story of them just trying to survive these two fathers manipulating things around them to try to go after him. Like her father is sending Anubis after him. He uses a remote control to control him. And then his Draven's father has hellhounds that control it. And something that's a little different about their story, because we are role players, the two characters are written by two completely different people. So I write for Seraphina. I write all her words and actions and voice and thoughts and everything. And my co-writer writes all of Draven's. So like you can tell the differences because my character talks way more than she thinks, and Draven thinks way more than he talks. So you have those two completely different personalities. We never write for the other person. So
awesome.
so that makes it a little bit unique.
Is that a result of your role playing, or are those
Yeah.
the characters you guys RP'd as?
Yeah. So what happens is I write the story, and then I write through my character's point of view, and then she writes in her character's point of view about what just happened. So when you're writing, you pretty much have two chapters of two different point of views of it happening, pretty much.
Oh,
Okay.
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
It is.
What kind of hurdles come with that? I feel, are there any? I mean, you guys are friends, so I assume it's probably smooth. Or I mean,
So we met through Europlay, but we became super fast. I had the idea for 11 years before I even met her, and I just held on to that role for that long. Once I met her, the day after I met her, I said, "Do you want a role?" And she says, "I never take roles, but yes." So we wrote nonstop. As of last week, I handed in a 15,000 word reply, and that put us over the 1 million words written in this story.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So, and as
amazing.
for hurdles, there is no hurdles. we're
Okay, I was
always
gonna
on
say,
the
yeah,
same
let's say.
line. Yeah, and she doesn't even know what's pretty much going to happen. I don't even know what's going to happen until I sit down and write it. So
Yeah.
once I write it and hand it in, then she's like, "Holy crap, I can't believe that happened." I was like, "Yeah, me too." And she's like, "I can't wait to see what happens." It's like, "Me too." Like I have no idea what's going to happen to it. So yeah.
What's your words per minute typing? You got to be.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's so funny because
Fire.
being dyslexic, I used to be a one-liner, and now I could do about 6,000 words in about 2-3 hours. So
Wow.
yeah, it's
Good
pretty
for
quick.
you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm lucky to do
I
6
don't
words in
think
2 to 3 hours half the time.
Well, it's nice
Well,
to
you know
know
what?
that.
It's only because of the obsession with the story. I mean,
Yeah.
I love
that's
the story.
awesome.
We
Yeah.
can never get enough of it. I just started series 2 of the spinoff, and I had no idea what was going to even happen until I sat down and wrote it, and it came out like I was like, I can't believe this is where the story's going. But it was just such a unique thing. I think you say so myself, but I had no idea the day before or the day or an hour before I wrote it that it was going to be that. So
Wow.
See, I love that because I was gonna ask, do you storyboard? But I like the organic development.
Yeah.
Because I kind of do. I don't storyboard at all. And so
Nope.
do you see? Have you ever attempted storyboarding? Do you feel like that's just
Nope.
stifled you? Yeah.
No,
same.
no. I mean, I literally just sit down and write.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll have a dream, or we'll talk about something, or we'll see something and be like, "Oh, that would be an awesome thing to write."
Yeah.
So we'll kind of do that, but no, we don't really think that far ahead. And it's very action packed, even though it's been called Romeo and Juliet in Hell. It's not really a romance. I mean, they love each other, and it's based on their love that they do this, but it's more of a survival, and it's pretty much a limitation of what you would do for the person that you love more than anything. And the title Worthy Chaos is her. She's got angelic blood, and everything negative is attracted to her, so she causes all of the chaos, and he always says that she's worth it, so she feels like a burden and he doesn't care. So you got that mentality of what would you do for the person that you love the most? I mean, these characters literally go through hell. We torture our characters, but
You gotta.
yeah, I mean, they go through hell, and they go to hell actually in book 4. So there's that. But we do have a lot going on in book 3, which is issue 15 to 24 is my favorite. It's Resident Evil 2. They're trapped in a town full of zombies, and they're trying to get through this town of of infested zombies and lab created creatures, and Anubis is in the background tracking them down. So you have that the thing with everyone loves Anubis, but how could you not love Anubis? So.
Love it.
It's definitely
Yeah.
one of
So
the
we
cooler
got-
It's
designs.
an epic world.
We
Where
got,
are we
about
at? Tom?
30, we got about 30 seconds left.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh
hey.
no.
All right. So, Carissa, the project looks fantastic in scope and scale. Congratulations, already being on issue 5. Only been working on it. Said 7
Yeah.
months. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I mean, like, I'm
Yeah.
intimidated by that, really.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
your production output is very
But I
impressive.
have to hold on to it till August. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna drop your link in the chat. Everybody, check out Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter. She's got 19 days left to go. Already beat the goal.
Yeah. the
So,
easiest way to find me is to go to Kickstarter and search Worthy Chaos. We're the only thing that pops up.
Awesome.
excellent.
Perfect.
All right. Hey, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for being
thanks
with
for
us.
coming
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Have a
I
good one.
appreciate it.
See ya.
Take
Yeah.
care. Bye. All right. Raven.
What's
What's up?
What up? What up? How's it going, gents? How we doing?
We're
Good,
doing
how are
good.
you?
We're doing good.
I'm alive.
All right, so
you know.
first minute, we drill you with questions. You have to answer as many questions as you can in 60 seconds to get to know you better. All right.
Yeah. We ready?
They're easy
Do it.
questions.
We're going. We're going.
Superman or Batman?
Batman.
Favorite monster?
Him from the Powerpuff Girls.
Nice.
Mm.
Favorite childhood toy?
The iDog. You guys remember that? The
Yeah.
iDog was like this really crummy
Yeah.
speaker. I loved it.
Mm.
Favorite movie?
There was this really good Tamagotchi movie. Tamagotchi, the second movie. Yeah,
Nice.
it's a weird one, but it's really cute.
Nice.
Favorite band?
Rainbow Kitten Surprise. You guys ever heard them?
What the?
I've actually
Stellar,
I've
dude.
actually
They're
heard
so
of them,
stellar.
yeah.
They're amazing.
they are pretty good. Anyway, do you use the Oxford comma or hate it?
I think I use it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not the most literate. I have an editor to help me, so
Oh,
Do
what
you
to
have,
do?
do you have any weird habits while you are creating? Like, do you need the room just right?
I listen to true crime whenever I'm working on stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, is that time? Okay.
Next time.
I got a comment on that
Easy.
real quick. I remember reading like in social media recently. There's been a lot of posts where they've had studies that people that watch true crime to relax or have in the background are very disturbed. So just
Yeah.
wanted to put that out there for you, right?
I don't know
that
if
track-
I'm
that
flattered or
track.
spooked, but you know.
No, hey, welcome. I've got. I guess if you wanted to, you could add your screen to this. If you wanted to share,
Yeah, let's do
Get Giddy again.
it.
I'm assuming we're going to talk about Get Giddy. Is that correct?
Yeah, get giddy.
Okay.
That's what I got coming out.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and share a graphic. And I know this is planning to
Yeah.
release. When are you launching?
On the 10th of next month. We're just a couple weeks away.
Okay, and we've got the pre-signage or pre-launch up now, so people can follow and pay attention to when you're launching, right?
Yeah. Oh man, it's so exciting. This series, I'm working with my little brother who's an animator. And with this series, we're combining my illustration work and his animation skills to bring to life a story about animator who went missing. And the only person who's really, hell-bent on finding him is his own creation, a 2D cat named Giddy. I actually have an updated clip of Giddy here to share with you guys. Like, no one else has seen this, so it's kind of exclusive.
Oh, this is a
Nice.
worldwide premiere.
Got a-
Worldwide
got a Brad
premiere,
Douglas
yeah.
exclusive. Look at that.
My brother dropped it the other day. We're almost done with the animated trailer. It should be completed by next week, so we'll be able to show the whole thing. But I can show you what Peyton just dropped the other day if you guys like to see it. It's a couple
Heck
seconds.
yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Hopefully the audio is working. Let me see. Can you guys hear?
With a little out of the box help. Well, it was more of a leather suitcase. Pretty rectangular, honestly.
That's it.
Animation is good.
That's
Very good.
really smooth animation.
Yeah,
He's
it's
stellar.
linked up with the audio real well.
Yeah, this kid, he just graduated with a bachelor's in animation, and I've been making comics since 2019. So it's kind of, we're both putting our best foot forward with this project. We have it planned out to be about 12 issues at this point. We're launching
Nice.
issue 1 on the 10th, which is bringing up the whole chaos of the mystery. It's a comedy mystery, kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but a little bit reversed. So we have a detective and his grandson spending the summer trying to uncover the mystery of Bach B. Butterscotch, a missing animator. And along the way, they meet Giddy, the 2D cat that this animator created before he mysteriously vanished. And Giddy helps them solve these mysteries through chaos and Looney Tune antics. So if you like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, early 90s cartoons, chaos and comfort, this is your jazz. This is your shtick.
Love that.
It's my jazz.
So I know I asked this before, but what was the inspiration behind this? Like what motivated you to want to tell this specific story?
Right.
And then with your brother too, right? So
Right. Man, so the way the inspiration for this came about is pretty funny. I was on a really long road trip with my brother. I had about 4 hours to kill till my next stop. And what do you do when you have 4 hours? You call the best person you know to shoot some gab with. So I call my little brother up. We start chatting, and he's like, man, I had this idea for a story. I don't know what to do with it. And I was like, lay it on me, man. What do you got? And he's like, I want to combine 2 different art styles in a comic. And I was like, oh, I'm here for it. That's really cool. 2 different artists working on the same comic to tell a unique story. Here for it. And we're, being a writer, I'm sure everyone on this panel can relate, having created a character or thought of a character at some point in time, you become really attached to these characters that you make, right? You want to share them with the world. That's your baby, right? And I was thinking, my brother and I were tossing around the idea, what would happen if you went missing? Would your creation know about you? Would they care about? Would they miss you? What would that look like? So the whole story started with, I have an idea. Let's combine 2 different artists and a what if. What if this led to that? So that's how we created Get Giddy, comedy mystery. And so we just start with the what if. Even the dogs are excited. What can I say? So that's where the idea really came from, was what if an animator went missing and his creation went looking for him? What chaos would ensue bringing a 2D character into the 4D world and in a mystery setting. So kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, we're taking a lot of delicate notes from that, and trying to kind of bring it a little more modern, a little more crazy and wacky, and kind of honing it in more. We're not in a toon world, we're in our world, and the cats come to us. What can this cat do in our world to stir up chaos? And chaos it is. It's very goofy, very fun.
So what does that look like as far as a collaborative approach? I mean, it sounds like you guys have a good relationship, so that's awesome. But as far as, are you guys pretty much aligned on vision? Do you if one pushes back, what's that look like?
We're both really flexible. Like, we trust each other completely. Like, my little brother, if he has an idea, we'll hear each other out. Spitballs are always welcome. We're always tossing around ideas. We're really flexible with this. A lot of things changed during the script writing for Giddy. We had a lot of different ideas about how we wanted the mystery to unfold, because I really love stories that are circular, ones that you could see the hints for at the beginning if you were to reread it. I like the rereadability. So figuring that out with my brother was a really fun challenge. And I don't know. I guess I just got really lucky having such a great little brother. The guy's so chill. Me and him both, we just we get on like 2 peas in a pod, and any ideas that the other have, we respect. Yeah, we're really lucky.
It must be nice to be able to get along with your co-writer.
I was going to say, I feel like Scott's asking a lot of questions about relationships.
Yeah, he's really intrigued by
taking notes, like how healthy relationships go.
If you hate him as much as I hate Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, it's been a hoot and a holler, and we both have like the same vision for the story. We both want, like, the main goal: have a good time. Right? Create a story that the readers have fun reading. So the reader feels rewarded. Where we both grew up with the mindset of, as an audience member, we want to watch a show that makes us feel like they care about us. Not like they're just trying to crank out content. We want to feel like this story was handcrafted for our entertainment. So I think that helps with our relationship, is having that as kind of like, our foundation of what can we do to make this more enjoyable for the reader. That kind of stuff.
Great. So, how much time do we have?
Just got 2 more minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's been a blast. No, that's why I was asking.
Is this an all ages comic?
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's all ages. So
Nice.
anyone can read it. The language is easy enough to read to where someone as young as 6 can pick up the book and understand. We're not
Cool.
using a lot of really hard terms in this, like you might see in other detective shows. So it's all ages, yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
You don't really see a lot of all ages comics, so it's kind of
Yeah.
refreshing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's all I write. That's all I've written so
Yeah.
far. I do have coming at the end of the year my very first adult-oriented comic, just because
Nice.
of the theme. It's a dark theme.
Nice.
So that'll be my first go at it. But all ages is what I've been working on since 2019. This will be my third series launching as a comic. So very
Cool.
excited. It's my first comedy mystery. So super stoked to get this out and share this with everyone, see what everyone thinks. And we've been really lucky with the feedback we've gotten on Giddy. Like, people really seem to enjoy the goofy character, that's what you want for your mascot, baby. Like, oh man, I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's the star.
Sure.
yeah, we
Yeah.
got real
Yeah.
lucky with that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was growing up on Garfield that helped. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
I know that shaped me, but I mean more
Yeah.
as I appreciated food too much.
And hate Mondays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Excellent. All right.
So we got 20
Well-
seconds left. So you want
What?
What can you say
Floor
about
is
getting
yours,
Giddy
yeah.
in 20 seconds?
Oh man,
Yeah.
okay. Giddy is a goofy dual art style comic where we're combining my background, my characters, my painterly style with my brother's clean, crisp 2D, very stretchy Looney Tune rubber hose art style. So if you enjoy seeing collaborations that pay off visually as well as storytelling wise, please come hang out with Giddy. We're launching on the 10th. We'll have a big animated trailer coming out next week. That's it. I'm just grateful to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
coming on.
Great
Thanks for
having
coming
you.
on. Yeah, that was awesome.
All right.
Good
Take
luck.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Christy.
What's up?
What's
Hello.
up?
Hello.
Hey, so you get 60 seconds to answer a bunch of questions. We're gonna
Sure.
annoy the crap out of you, get to know you real quick. So Scott's got the timer. Let's get
Okay.
started.
What is your biggest creative influence?
Oh, I'd say Matt Groening and Johnny Ryan.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie, I'd say The Thing, because I usually hate horror movies. But it's
Favorite
good.
musician?
I
Or-
actually
or
like
band.
the Angry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Angry Samoans or Violent Femmes, my mood, but I also like a nice bit of pop now and then.
Nice.
Nice.
Favorite childhood toy?
I would say Robotech, like Mecha back in the day, Transformers.
Badass.
Yeah.
Favorite
Okay.
movie monster?
Oh, I like The Thing from The Thing. That
Yeah.
scared
That's
the
kind of
shit
a
I
out of
thought that might be coming.
Yeah.
Superman or Batman?
Batman. He and Superman are the best frenemies on the fucking planet.
Do you have any weird habits while you're creating? Like anything?
Play
you-
the same
yeah.
song over and over and over again. Also playing
Like-
fucking I'm playing fucking cat videos while I'm drawing like really fucked up shit.
Nice.
All
Cat
right.
videos. Love it. Awesome. Well, hey, I guess we're here to talk about a specific cat, right? With your comic Demon Bitch.
Yeah.
Which looks like a cat. I'm assuming is a cat, right? So
You know, looking back, considering I have cats, probably that's why, because this is what I love about cats is that they have the best self-concept ever. They don't give a shit if they're assholes or pieces of shit. They're like, yeah, we're fine. It's like, that's who I am. And it's like, even if they're needy, they're like, no, I'm needy. I don't need to change. Fuck you.
so
I like
And-
that we've
and-
gone from an all ages comic to a hard right turn into Demon Bitch.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
straight out the gate. Fuck you. I'm gonna be who I want to be.
No,
You know, yeah.
no warm up. No.
No.
No, but I think that's kind of what the thing that I've always noticed about your work is you sound like your work. Like those two blend. They're comparable to each other. It's really nice.
She's not a
I can
poser.
see how you inject what you do
Yeah.
into this.
Yeah.
So
No.
Genuine.
it's
Yeah.
genuine, right? So, like, I guess out of curiosity, like, what inspired you to do Demon Bitch? Just out of curiosity.
I hate saying honestly, but it's so programmed for us to say it. It's yeah, this is my evil bitch over here. That's one of them. But anyway, I think what it is that I just decided to write a pissed off comic about things that made me angry, and somehow like that was very deep and people really liked it. I started off with Personal Monsters. That's kind of a precursor, and it was a rogues gallery of fucking assholes, like The Origin of the Species, but for shitheads. And it wasn't really a comic. I just drew and wrote the angriest things. It's kind of like when Matt Groening, when he first moved to LA, and he wrote Life in Hell before The Simpsons, and that's what kind of got him on the map. I think it was in LA Weekly for a while. And I actually read that when I was little, by the way, because my parents wanted to brainwash me to get into Stanford, and that didn't work because I read all the college underground comics instead. And they said, "Oh yeah, she's little, she likes comics." So I'm like, so I'm reading this fucking shit. That fucked me up. But yeah, so I went on there, and then I did Demon Bitch because it was based off girls I fucking hate. So the precursor of Demon Bitch is that she's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog shit in gum wrappers. And she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's a stupid fucker. And she's based on girls I hate. So it's like girls treat each other like shit. I mean, that's the thing. So I just decided to just draw it. And from what I've understood about Demon Bitch, what they like about it is like I kill the elephant in the room and put it on a bladder and say, "Here, fucking eat it." And that's how what people like. But it's just like I'll draw shit of stuff that annoys me, like especially with the whole thing. And then again, I don't think this was purely that, but I noticed that we kind of do this thing about clout chasing called death type clout chasing. So whenever somebody dies, and I'm not saying that the person who passes away doesn't deserve our sorrow or honor or anything, but it's like this one. So it's like this bitch. So it's like they'll just go on and on and on this person about this person that died, but they don't really know them. You could kind of tell they don't know or care about them, but they're just raping their corpse because, it's just like, oh, I just want to seem like a good person. And this is what's trending now. And it was just like amazing to me, like with the whole thing, unfortunately, with Ian McGinty. Now, I never knew him personally, and I'm not bashing anybody that really, truly misses him or extols him. But I saw plenty of people like jumping on that bandwagon just to get clout, and it fucking annoyed me. So shit like that annoys me. So it's like, like I didn't comment on it because I did not know him. I was not 100% familiar with his work. And as I said, I'm not saying the guy didn't deserve sympathy or empathy or I'm sorry this happened. Definitely his family deserves that. But I got very annoyed at fucking people that I knew goddamn well that probably didn't know him that were just basically trying to hump that. And it was like, that was gross to me. Very gross. And I sort of drew some cartoons as a result of that because it was like, there's some I haven't released yet, but there's one of Demon Bitch and another character taking a selfie in front of a fucking coffin with a dead person and say, wow, Yeah. But that's, to me, that's how it is. That's how the internet has been sometimes.
Yeah.
So it really is like just, I guess, satire, at its core, right? I mean, it's I guess designed to just really find some sort of flaw in our culture or something, some sort of issue in the culture, and kind of giving that a humorous spin. But it sounds like it comes from a place of frustration or anger, which since that tends to be the inspiration behind it, right? Like frustration or anger behind something. That must be so relieving to get all that.
I mean, it's funny because I don't like to do, because sometimes when people do satire, they'll pick a subject, right, that's popular. And then they'll go with it, but it's the same fucking direction the whole time. And I'm going, God, you guys are just kind of copying each other sometimes. And again, like for me, I'm coming, like, I didn't list all the music that I like, but I like punk and underground shit, So it's like, I'm here to do offensive things. Like I love fucking Mike Diana. I think from what I remember, he's like the first American cartoonist to ever be jailed for obscenity and charged with that. And it was kind of fucked up how that happened to him. And actually I have a couple of his pieces on my wall. Like I had him go in this show that I do called Femme Revenge, but I do like different takes. So this year I'm going to do Razor Blade and Roses, almost like a play on Guns N' Roses. And I asked people, and some people wanted to contribute artwork to the show, whether old or new, and just say, hey, just do that, have your idea of like Femme Revenge and go from there. And some guy, like I've asked some guys and they're like, well, I'm not a woman. I'm like, just fucking do it. If I ask you, just do it. So I just don't believe in this whole thing. Like it needs to be sequestered away to certain groups or certain things because it's like, there's that tagline, I mean, like I'll start laughing at shit and I'll say, oh my God, this fucker's a total fucking Chad. And I love this so much because it's just ridiculous in that situation. Not that I like Chads or whatever. It's just that I take a situation and put in context and I have to like it because it's just there's something fucked up about it. And that's kind of how I feel with Demon Bitch. It's just essentially, I mean, I've had people come up to me and they say, you fucking bitch, you drew my ass. You drew me and you made fun of me. And I'm like, really? I said, so I ran into 4 or 5 of you already, so you're not that special, to be honest. So there's no way it could be you. And they get even madder at me because I didn't single them out. It's like, sorry, you're not special. Y'all suck, So that's how I feel.
It's kind of fun and refreshing to hear this. Like that kind of makes me want to make something like this. So hey, you got a campaign coming up. The pre-launch is up, so we'll share that in the chat.
Yeah.
Is there a specific theme to this one? Like I know you have several volumes of this.
Well, I do have graphic novels each, and I try to do something a little different. This one was just called Pen 15. So like Pen 15 here off the penis joke, pen is here.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to be able to sell it to cons, so probably now that I've said it, I probably won't. But it's like a standard graphic novel that I put some sketches in there and fan art. And because I always ask some of my artist friends, like, hey, can you do fan art? This time, like usually I get Lawrence Hubbard from Raw Dog from Real Deal Comics. I have Zoralita. She's done My Little Pony and Marvel Upper Deck sketch cards. I mean, I've had other artists like Ray Anthony Height, but in this one, I've actually had a new artist called named Mog Park, and she's one of the official illustrators, concept artists of Game of Thrones. Yeah. And she drew her all fucking sexy. And it's funny because some people draw her ass sexy and Demon Bitch is this doughy, like bleached dog turd piece of shit. So I don't know why, but they draw her sexy. It's great. So it's funny. It's funny to see people's renditions of that. So I'm very amused by that. But it's kind of funny. Another direction is I'm actually doing a kid's book. And how that sort of evolved was that for some fucking reason, I would be allowed to go to kids shows. Even though I show them full disclosure what Demon Bitch is about. And maybe it's like at the beginning of the show, so, you might want to cover up the bitch or whatever. And so I'll do that or not, depending on what they ask me. I mean, I'm not an asshole about it. Like I say, okay, fine. And at the end of this, like, we really love you. Come again. And it's like, I've had parents read through Demon Bitch with their kids. I make sure people read my books and they'll buy them for their fucking kids. So
what
I said,
doing to the children, Christy?
I think basically maybe it's like literally when I'm the president of the Comic Art Professional Society, and literally when I've also been kind of plugging that as well, there's like women that come up and their daughters are like young, like 8 years old. And they said, you can draw angry comics like her. Like it's a badge of honor. And, it's like, these are just angry. And the mothers like know exactly, they read through the whole book. I give complete and total disclosure. I mean, I even sign the books when people buy them. But since that was happening so much, I decided to do an exclusively kids book. So I called the Demon B Meets Mr. F Word. So if you know where that's going, but it's completely safe for kids. And I have even one of my friends, Stephen Prince, he wrote Monster Matador, and he tells me all sorts of crazy shit that his kids do. So I asked him to write the forward, which is pretty funny. So, but it's still safe for children. So it's like, I figure if you're an adult, and I don't have kids, but I've known people that have had kids, when they're babies, you have to read them that shit like 10 million times. You're like, okay, baby bunny goes on like, so I figured that I would write a book that would be kind of funny for the adults to read too. So those are both in the Kickstarter, the standard graphic novel and the kids book.
That's
and
awesome.
I have retail options too. So
awesome. So when are you going live? When's your launch?
9/12, September 12th.
Oh wow! So you got a lot of lead time.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's like, because like I had to wait kind of for cost to settle down.
Yeah.
I kind of have an idea of like I'm looking for at least 7K. I just need to wait some bits back from like some of but I have a general idea of price. And
Okay. All right. So
we are out of
launching in
time.
September. What'd you say, Scott?
We're out of time. I didn't want to cut her off. I don't want her to draw me, but
Yeah.
we're a little over.
having you. Thanks for
Yeah.
waiting, by the
Thanks
way.
for
It was
coming.
great having you
Yeah,
on.
thank you.
We
Oh,
appreciate
it
it.
was my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. What's up, Aaron? How are you?
Hey guys, hi. How you doing?
How you doing, Aaron?
Hey, thanks
How's
for
it going?
waiting back there, man.
No worries. I have to admit that she's right. Cats are fucking assholes. Especially mine. It wakes me up at 5 a.m. every morning when I'm at home.
Oh,
It's part of their charm.
It's
right?
part of the charm.
Yeah.
And they know it as well. It just
Yeah.
sucks you in.
Yeah. That I think, and my dog's like that too, though. So like, I don't know.
Dogs. Yeah.
I guess my wife and I are just pushovers, and our pets know that, so they just kind of do whatever they want. All right, so we get a minute to ask you a bunch of questions about yourself, just to get to know you real quick before we dive into your project. So Scott's got the timer. Bill's going to ask the questions.
Favorite movie?
Akira.
Favorite band?
Queen.
Favorite childhood toy?
Probably the Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Something you're afraid of? Doesn't have to be
This shit.
This shit, yeah. Favorite movie monster?
Xenomorph.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Where are you from? Oh, do we lose him?
You broke him right at that point.
Broke him. He's like, I've had enough. I quit.
He's like, that's the one. Where am I from?
Where am I from?
My accent?
The wrong people could be watching this. Bye.
Okay. All right. So, well, what we'll do is we'll wait for him to jump back in. Let's see.
There you go.
Oh, there he is.
It's been fine all the way through, and it comes to me and it blinks out.
All right. Last question that you didn't get to answer, at least we didn't hear. Where are you from?
Scotland.
Nice.
Nice. All right.
As you can tell by my weird accent.
I'm going to share your campaign real quick. It's up on the screen. And we would love for you to kind of just walk us through it. Like, what's this series about, and any interesting information you think that readers or backers would want to know.
It's a samurai tale, as it tells you in the title. It follows Nakaki, who's a kind of seasoned samurai warrior who follows his kind of master and lord. He's a big family man as well. You kind of get that image at the start with his wife and daughter. He follows his master to his dying brother's castle, and they're betrayed, and the younger brother kind of starts taking over, and in the chaos, Nakaki tries to head back to his village, and all hell breaks loose. It's very sword wielding, decapitating arms and limbs flying everywhere, and there is a lot of kind of supernatural horror in it as well, which adds a little flavor to it.
So the art's fantastic. I like the interior art.
I like the spot coloring.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
What made you decide to go that route visually?
It kind of fell into place really with the artist, because he did my previous graphic novels, Enenra, and it's kind of similar tones to that as well, because that's a horror post-apocalyptic, and the tones seem to fit really well with this story, and he kind of just went with it, and it's like the illustrations are amazing. I mean, I type a little paragraph and he comes out with that.
Right. Yeah, like it's great visual storytelling too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I did want to.
We lose him.
That's all right. We'll bring him back.
That's the driving force of him getting back to them, after they've been betrayed and obstacles get in his way. So yeah, it's really cool. And
Ooh, look at that.
Nice.
You can get
That's
this
awesome.
with this is painted by me. please forgive.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. So you do you have a passion for Samurai Tales? I mean, is that like
So there you go.
I think I lost him. Oh man, I can assume that he does have a passion for Samurai Tales.
Probably a safe assumption.
Yeah, safe
Yeah.
assumption.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got him back. All right, cool. Yeah, there we are. Hey, so
Yeah, I loved like Afro Samurai and Samurai Champloo. They kicked ass, so I loved them as with the anime and everything. It kind of kicked off my love of the genre. So yeah, it all kind of kicked off by accident, really, because obviously I followed the artist from Nenra on Instagram, and he posted a kind of kick-ass samurai image, and I liked it, so it'd be pretty cool, to write a story about this character. And he basically just said, "Go ahead, I'll draw it." So I kind of steamrolled from that.
Cool.
is this the first comic that you've worked on?
Be the second I've worked
Okay.
on. I've got several dozen kind of tin dust on my laptop, but second illustrated.
Awesome. Now you this is issue 4. This is issue 3, right?
Yeah, issue 3. It's
And
completes
how many
the
issues do
saga.
you have planned?
Just 3. At
Oh,
the
just
moment.
3.
Oh,
Okay, so this is the
nice.
finale.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Okay.
It's
Well, it
What's
looks like you
the
got
3
page
to
count
get.
on that?
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, sorry, what was the page count?
Page count. The third one is 32.
Nice.
The first and second were 28 each.
Nice. Very cool.
So you got 6 days left. You're funded. You're 7,000
Yes.
past your goal. Got 114 backers.
7,000, I wish.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
700.
I wish it was 7,000.
That's a 37,000. Oh wow. Okay. I guess I noticed a couple things here. There was something that really stuck out to me: the samurai keyring as a stretch goal.
Yes.
Why?
Can you pull that up? I want to see that.
Yeah.
They're
That's
trying to
that's awesome.
brainstorm for their own.
Yeah, they're like really tiny ones. It's just like I thought I'd give back to the backers as a little. That's why it's free shipping. They're pretty small. You get the big ones like this with the. I don't know if you can see the name
Yeah, I
etched on
love
it.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's like you probably see the ones behind me. Oh, wrong way. On the shelf there.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
Those are
it's
awesome.
so there's quite a few customizable key ring, a flat what's it like a dog tag. Get the flip side is you can put whatever you want. You can put a name, put things and stuff. Because a friend of mine like laser etches the back to make the characters and the shapes. So
That's cool.
He's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We were actually just talking as a group. We were talking about the key rings as an add-on, like keychains and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming it does well for you because you
I've had
keep
I have
getting a lot of
yeah.
samurai swords. So
I had some keen interest in them, so I'm really happy they're doing well. Again, you can get all these prints, which I've got here. All these ones, they're all collector prints. You can have it as many as you want. Comes in 2 sizes. These are the big ones, and they're the small ones, as you can tell the difference.
man, and that's all available on the campaign, right?
Yep, all available. It's all on the collector prints. I've got a big image to show you all the different ones, and then you just select which ones you want in the add-ons.
It's awesome. So we're going to share this campaign in the chat so that everybody has access to it. I guess Scott, we're running a little low on time, right?
I think we got about 2 minutes left.
Oh, thank God. Okay, good. So I wanted to make sure there was some more stuff that we covered on here. So there's some covers that I saw that I wanted to make sure that we highlighted on here. I didn't go down far enough on the campaign. I just saw this stuff. So this looks pretty epic.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah,
Literally.
Costa. Yeah, he did pretty well.
You got
The
to walk
fire in the background is pretty cool,
That's
and
Love
the
that.
daughter and mother in the water.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I see that,
unfortunately,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
there isn't a because I try and do a background wallpaper for desktop for my
That's cool.
covers, but unfortunately, the artist who did the last one, there was a bit of miscommunication, and he just sent the original image, an original artwork. So that's like a detailed scan of it. I'm like, I can't really make this into a desktop, can I?
Oh jeez.
Well, for that,
Wow.
yeah.
And then these are some of the other
Those are cool.
katanas.
Yeah, that's
So,
the
hey,
collection of katanas.
You got some time. Do you have a full size katana in your possession?
I don't. I used to in my youth. I used to have it wasn't a proper one. It was a wooden one. Practice aikido, longer, and more maneuverable. And they actually the dojo actually did full on samurai sword fighting, full armor, full swords, and they beat the shit out of each other,
awesome.
and it was freaking awesome. But of course, the armor cost like thousands, so I was like, "Can I get one?" No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it and didn't see it again. So unfortunately, I still remember it. It was amazing. So yeah, that's the closest
I'm
I've got.
sorry
to
to
a
bring
real-
back that pain.
Yeah, that's the closest I've got to a real one.
I feel like I need to gift you one now. Like we got to find a way to get
Yeah.
it. Aaron.
Yeah, we'll
All
get
right.
it. We'll get it.
Yeah, support Aaron's campaign, but also keep in mind that this money might go towards a future purchase of a katana. So
Full
Alright.
set of samurai armor.
Yeah, I could dress up for all the Comic Cons.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You think it's a statue next to the stand, but it's actually me, and I scare the shit out of you.
All right, we're out of time on that one.
Okay. Aaron, it was great talking with you. We appreciate you waiting in the
Yeah.
back there.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
me. Yeah, absolutely. Project looks great, man. So
Yeah, it looks
congratulations on funding.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
awesome. Good job, man.
Later on.
Take it easy, guys.
All right,
See
bye.
you.
Leanne.
Hi.
Hey,
How are
what's
ya?
up?
I'm
Sorry, yeah, we
good.
are running a little bit behind. So
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you'd be able to fit me in, and I was okay with it because this is the first time I've done this, and I'm nervous.
okay, and listen, we're just as
We'll
nervous.
help with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's fairly straightforward. We're gonna. And the great thing about it is we're not working against the clock anymore. You're the last guest, so we can really take some time to get to understand you and your project, and we'll go ahead and get started with just simply asking you some questions about yourself. We're gonna give you a minute, and we're just gonna ask as many questions as we can about you, and hopefully we get to learn a lot about you. So Scott's got the timer. Bill's going to ask the questions. Let's go.
All right. We're live.
So, where are you from?
I am from Maple Ridge, BC in Canada.
And what is your favorite movie monster, if you have one?
Probably the alien from Aliens.
Favorite childhood toy?
Easy Bake Oven.
Oh,
nice.
A little bit older,
Favorite movie?
Probably. Well, I love all of the Star Trek movies. Love all the Star Wars movies too, but I would have to say probably Prometheus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could own any exotic animal as a pet, what would it be?
Probably one of those tiny little pigs. They are so cute.
Yeah. And then last question, Superman or Batman?
Batman.
There we go.
Yeah.
Batman across the board. Look at
I
that.
feel like you're like gave her the
Superman
answer
just
there
got
because you're wearing that hat, Scott.
I know.
So,
I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
like we're gonna have
Explain
words
the
if you
audience.
could be
Subliminal messaging too.
Well, I remember standing in lineup to watch the Batman years ago in the early 90s, and it was like the lineup was like down around the block, and we stood there for hours.
Dude, it was a major launch. I remember.
Yeah.
The marketing was immense for that film, the campaign.
Oh yeah.
I wish I would have kept the shirt still, darn it.
So you'd mentioned you like Star Trek and you like Star Wars.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, what's your stance on The Last Jedi?
Oh shit.
Well,
he's going there.
The first thing that comes to mind is it has a female Jedi, right? Which is Rey, and that's a new thing in the storyline, and I really liked that. I thought that was awesome, and it was great. She did a great job with it.
I agree with you where you feel that this is one of the best Star Wars films. So
well, it taken a long time to come out, but I loved it. I thought it was great.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
So that's all I needed to know. We also know where Scott stands on the issue, but we don't really care to know more because obviously
I don't want to eat up your time. Yeah,
we have to be polite to our Canadian guests, Scott.
I'm remaining silent.
So are you specifically drawn to science fiction? Is that like the genre that you find yourself more immersed with?
Well, I've written this dystopian sci-fi, but I also wrote a horror before that, which I haven't been able to get an artist to complete the artwork, like even to start the artwork on that. But I love science fiction more. I don't know. It's just sort of my history. I love it. So, yeah.
And you, I guess in your background, because we talked a little bit obviously earlier today, so there were some pretty interesting things about your experience leading into comics here. You did visual effects for films.
Well, they had me in some credits for visual effects, but it was actually special effects makeup. And I ended up doing I did puppeteering like maybe 2 days too on another project. Just got thrown into it. But it was mostly special effects makeup and some beauty makeup in the film industry in Vancouver, and I did that for about 15 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
was there any specific project that you were on that was your favorite?
Well, I really liked Tron because I had a lot of artistic freedom in designing the funky makeups that the backgrounds had, and that kind of thing. So that was probably one of the more interesting things because I love doing prosthetics, but that one was just all airbrushing and full on, like what you wanted to do was what they just let you do whatever you want, which almost never happens.
Wow. I was shocked that you made that statement that they really just gave you the liberty to choose because that film had such a specific artistic direction, right? So that's awesome.
Yeah. So I got to create a whole bunch of really cool. And then when you're doing the background on that project, that's what I was doing. They only show up for like 2 seconds on the screen, which is kind of a drag, but that's what it is, right?
That's life because you think about all these people that do set designs and they put in all these details on these buildings, and you might not even catch it in the shot that ends up on film, right? So
and then the same thing happened when I was working in the special effects lab for X-Men 3, and that was pretty interesting. They'd gone through a whole bunch of different makeup artist teams before they decided on where they wanted to go with the designs. So when I got there, they'd probably been like, I don't know, about 5 different teams. And so it was a really stressful environment trying to get the things done to what the producers wanted and stuff. So we worked like 20-hour days for 2 months. And then it was 2 days of shooting.
Oh wow!
You mentioning that, it's funny because I've been seeing some articles pop up recently about a lot of artists that worked on Across the Spider-Verse and how they had like I think over 100 animators leave the studio or leave that project because of work conditions where they were just working extremely long hours. And I can only imagine how exhausting that can be day after day after day after day of doing this. So you must have a love for it, right?
Oh,
like
Yeah.
So, what got you from there to comics? Now that you're working in comics.
Yeah. Well, the hours after a while started getting to me in the film industry, and then I decided to be a dog groomer, and then I went and took a course, and I had my own business for about 10 years, and then I became a master dog groomer. So that was it's been pretty good, and I'm just making a switch right now to a job where it's not so physical, so I can write more, because
Nice.
I mean, I work like 60 hours a week when you run your own business. So, and I really want to do this writing for graphic novels and comics. It's just where my passion is more. So I need a job where I can at least give like 3 hours a day without wanting to fall asleep at your laptop. So here I am. I'm making a switch, and I can't wait to get started in it. And I'm just a newbie, unlike the other people that you had before me. So I've been funding my own project so far. I'm not going on Kickstarter. I might at some point to get all 4 issues done, but I'm just sort of seeing how it goes. And I have this amazing artist in Argentina, and we're working together and trying to get it done as soon as we can. But he is very, very good, and he is very busy. So it takes a while.
That's what happens with the good ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I'm going to share.
Yeah.
You shared some art with me, so I'm going to go ahead and share that right now. And you can obviously continue to if you want to describe the book.
Yeah.
So it's all yours.
So it's called Bohemia. Like I've taken the word, from Bohemian, which means like I've written things down in case my brain goes dead. But basically, Bohemia is like a person, such as a writer, living an unconventional life, like in a colony. That's like what the dictionary. So my Bohemia is an unconventional place which holds the arts. So it just means that there was a university in Florida that it was an aeronautical university, and they built an in-ground place for people to survive from atomic war, right? And it's an alternative reality, and the war occurred in 1985. So these people have been down there for years and years, and they're very heavily influenced by the arts and movies and things that they have, because that's all they have. They don't go above, except for the adults do, and some of them die from radiation. So
I like that you're laughing about that.
It's
from radiation
death, which is hilarious.
It has some dark points to it, as dystopian sci-fi has to, right? But so it's mostly kids that are living down there, and they have like a bunch of different groups, and there's ones called wheelies and bookies and that kind of stuff. There's this guy called the keeper. He's the guy that is in charge of the library. So there's a library full of every kind of movie and book and record and music and art, and then educational stuff because it was a university. And then, of course, everything to stay alive, like weapons and food and all of that other stuff. Yeah.
It's awesome.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
So when you went into this story, did you start off saying, hey, I want to write something that's post-apocalyptic? Or did that just come in later as you were developing the core story itself?
I think I got influenced a little bit by COVID.
Okay.
Because I was living in Ontario at the time, and they made me close my business down for like 2-3 months. So then I was already writing another project that I had an artist that we were working together that's sort of been put on the shelf for now. And then when that happened, I was like, well, okay, I really like doing this and I want to continue doing it. So how am I going to continue doing it? And then I think because of the COVID, being isolated and, everybody's imagination's going crazy at the time, we didn't know what was going. So my imagination was going 10 times crazy. And I came up with the story of, if there was like a world event, like where would people be able to survive? So it's based below, Florida and the warmer areas of North America. So, in Canada, we would kind of be lost if something happened. It's cold up here and you can't grow food in the snow. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I tried to use some like real points and real like silly fears that a lot of people might have if something like that happened. And that's where I started with the story.
It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned something to me earlier about the family atmosphere of the story. Like there's like a strong family component to all the
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, well, they do have their issues with each other. There is a protagonist. Her name is Ruthie the Ruthless, and there's a lotto that goes on where they draw out a name of a few people every week or two to go up top and do things or get things that they need, right? And sometimes the people don't come back. So Ruthie's part of this lotto, so she's kind of like the good guy, bad guy, and yeah, and she, as you can see in the photo that I showed you, she loves the punk rock bands and that kind of stuff, and she's really a funky, interesting character. And the different groups that are in there, they you gonna show the photo? There she is. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
I wanted to write an inclusive story where you have like a variety of characters, but that's not the main point of the story. Although they're all different and unique in their own way, but they're all just kind of like living together, just getting along most of the time harmoniously. That's the important part. And then at the end of that issue, I stress how the atomic war happened, and then people were greedy and that kind of thing, and not being very kind to each other and that kind of stuff. And that's sort of how that happens when you do that in the bigger picture. So with the characters in the story, they're trying to change that in Bohemia. They're trying to live in a different place than where the world was before the war. Yeah, so they're trying to have a family and a connection with each other and be kind and accept each other. Yeah, so that's like the theme of the story. And then it goes on into the other issues that I have that we've just started the artwork for. It goes into other places in the world and how they got affected with the nuclear war. So the second issue starts in Mexico, and it's got people living in a cenote and that kind of thing, in an underground kind of cave, how they managed to live all those years. And then they managed to get up to the northern part where the Bohemia is in Florida and meet those characters. And then in the third and the fourth issues, I'm going to do other parts of the world and what happened with them when the war went off.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
That looks great. Like, and I love the concept.
Thank you.
So you're not going to Kickstarter with this. You're going to self-fund it and just make it independently.
Right.
And then eventually go to Kickstarter, maybe to do a trade.
Maybe. I kind of just sort of figuring things out as I go along. And still sort of trying to confirm a publisher. I have a few people that are interested, but I have to get at least the second issue done before they will commit, to signing anything. So we'll see how that goes. And that's why I wanted to come in here today and sort of get used to the whole process, because it's really easy as a writer just to sort of live in your own little world and not have to mix with people. But I mean, this is part of what I want to do. So I have to get used to going on these things and sort of talking about my story and getting people interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, I think all of us probably, if we were on the other side of this, like being asked questions about our projects, I don't know if I know I wouldn't speak as eloquently or as clear and concise as you have about.
Definitely not.
So you're doing a good job. Like I got a good sense of what this story is, and I'm excited to see this. So hey, if you do decide to go to crowdfunding, reach out. We're happy to share some best practices and stuff. Because what a great way for you to get started, at least with getting some readers already invested in you and already reading your properties, and as it goes to a publication. I mean, you've already got a little bit of a reader base build up from Kickstarter, so something to consider. But when can we see the first issue? Like, when do we have that? Like, is that out now, or can we?
It's completed and done, so I could, but I wanted to get it done through a publisher, but I guess I could put it on Kickstarter and get it done that way. I just need to research more about how everything's done.
Yeah, it's fairly straightforward. But I definitely encourage you to take a look into that. You maybe even talk to those publishers that have expressed interest and just ask them if it's fine for you to go ahead and do some crowdfunding just to help
Mhm.
produce the books.
Mhm.
Most publishers have no issue with it.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Impressed with the
It's
work.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
Can
you
we
so
have
much.
it? No,
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
That's okay. So, no.
Now that we have you here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let us know once the real publishers have rejected you, if that happens. All right. If that
I don't know.
happens, come to us. We'll help
Well,
out.
Be the sloppy seconds.
I didn't get started in it to be like rich or whatever. I just,
Yeah.
you know, like there was a guy that was back a few times before me, and he said, you know, if I could just have this as like a side job, if I could, you know, because we're artists, we want to just be creative, and when I got into film, I wanted to help create scary monsters and stuff like that, and create characters. That's what I love. So that's the same thing that I'm trying to do here. So
That's so cool.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
you're
hope
gonna
that I
you're
can do it.
I'm so curious now. Are there monsters in Bohemia?
Yeah, there is.
Okay,
There's
thank
these
you.
creatures that are like mutant characters called scabies that
Okay.
take the kids, and I don't want to tell
Alright.
anymore, but no,
No,
it's,
that's
Yeah.
okay. I
it's
just
like
needed
they're
to
like
know there's
boogeyman.
monsters in it. I just needed to know there's monsters in it, Leanne. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's monsters. And there's people that are like raiding and, you know, pillaging and stealing food, and, you know, the terrible things that happen if this kind of stuff ever happens.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Going to humanity.
yeah,
Oh, so much fun.
yeah.
So, hey, great talking with you. Is there anything else that you'd like to cover about your project or anything else that you're working on that you'd care to share?
Well, the other project that I'm trying to find an artist for, I really like the artwork of Aaron, the guy before me. So if his artist is ever free, it's really hard to find artists that you can totally, you know, communicate with and is in your budget, for one, too.
Mhm.
I find a lot that I could work with, but they're not free or they're just out of my budget. So,
Mhm.
but the next one is, I came up with a fear when I was driving, and we moved from Vancouver to Ontario or Quebec years and years ago. And we used our GPS, of course, to get across Canada, right? And when we were approaching Quebec into the Laurentians, we got lost a little bit in the woods somewhere. And I started thinking, well, where are we driving? Like, we're driving down this road, and we could be driving to like nowhere and getting lost in the middle of the woods, and who's ever going to be able to find us or whatever. So that kind of silly, we ended up getting out of there fine, but GPS took us on this crazy drive in the middle of nowhere, and there was no street lights, no nothing, for hours. And we managed to get out, but the fear kind of stuck with me, and I wrote it down in my little idea book of stories I want to tell about one day. So that's what the other story, that's the horror story. It's called GPS.
Okay.
And it's about
That's
a
awesome.
female serial killer that lives in Quebec. And she brings people to her lair through hacking into the GPS.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for making us afraid of something like that now.
Yeah, I know. Never
I'm
gonna
just
trust it again.
waiting.
The GPS
Yeah, I'm just-
actually wrong, or is someone hacking it? So I
Exactly. You know, I mean, there you read about people being lost sometimes through that, and you know, that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
it's a possibility, but I don't know if someone would actually be able to hack in. But
Hey, in your story, they can.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's it.
doesn't matter. if
Man,
it's
that's fantastic. That's
yeah.
fun.
Well, thank
Awesome.
you.
Well, hey, it's been great having you on. I appreciate you
Yeah.
waiting
Nice meeting you.
to jump in, and the project looks great.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, absolutely.
Thanks for
And
joining.
look forward to seeing more. Hopefully, you consider maybe doing some crowdfunding. You mentioned something about finding artists within your budget. Maybe if you come to Kickstarter with this and everybody sees what your ambition is with it, you might have a lot of people invest in you, and you might be able to take that money and reinvest into GPS or something else that you're working on as well. That's what we do when we run crowd funding campaigns for Bad Bug.
Okay.
The money that we get from one book's campaign will pay for that book, but then there's money that will roll over into other projects for us because we have readers that want to support our books. I'm sure you'll have no problems finding some supporters for your work.
Awesome.
So, well, hey, guys, do you guys have anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Okay.
Great
Man, it
seeing
was
you.
great talking with
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
You take care.
Good meeting you.
Yeah.
You
Have a great
too.
night.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right. So, hey, thanks everybody again for watching. Appreciate some of the questions in the comments that I just now saw because I had it switched over to the private chat. So, big
Oh, I
shout
didn't
out
even switch
to the
over.
people in
Yeah.
the chat, real quick. Let's just say hi. We had Jay Burns on. What's up, Jay? Thank you. We got Tim Fling. Hello, sir. We had Tristan Vick watching in. Hey, Tristan. Who are these nerds? That's cruel. All right. We got Judah Rad. We had James Michael Hammond. Hello, sir. James
Oh,
did
wow.
the Merle variant cover for issue
Yeah,
1.
I love that one.
We had Aaron share his link or left a comment for us here in the chat. We're happy to have you, Aaron. I will share links to all these campaigns in the chat at the end. Outside of that, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to y'all soon.
See you guys.
See ya.